How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin is moving. It's up 4.6% on the day, above 45,000 at the time of this recording. I want to talk to you about why this is happening and what we can look forward to in the future. There are some big estimates out there for what we're going to do moving forward. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. Also, there's a link to my Patreon and HG Access underneath the video. Two different Patreons that I'm part of both. And I just gave early access to a video that I'll be posting probably later today on a stock that I bought a good amount of. So if you want to get early access to videos like that or get access to the videos that I make every single day in the Patreon, they're exclusive. You can check out the links underneath the video. There's also a link down there to Margex. So I just opened a long position just a few days ago on Bitcoin. You can see this kind of bullish pennant where we had been moving up. We started seeing lower highs and higher lows, and then we broke out above. We also saw this inverse head and shoulders, both of which I've been talking about in a handful of videos recently, and then we had a breakout. I made about 35% on a long position. I did close it a little bit early because I was going to bed. I wanted to make sure that I got my profits, but we made about 35% on a Bitcoin position, on a Bitcoin long here recently. I talked about on the Patreon. So if you want to start trading as well, you can check out the link to Margex. There's a 20% deposit bonus. They also added Kaspa after I specifically requested it. And a lot of people made a lot of money on Kaspa yesterday. I think last time I looked, it was up like 20 something percent. They had some big buys and they also had this bullish pattern as well. So I think that's something that you can do to kind of amplify your returns this next bull market. If you want, you can use leverage trading. Now, it is a very small portion of my portfolio that I leverage trade with, but I am fairly risk averse as well. So check this out underneath the video if you want. Now, Bitcoin is moving up on the day, up about 4.85%, above 45,000 at the time of this recording. It's leading the market. It is leading the market here today. Obviously, Ethereum's up 2.7% in the last 24 hours. BNB is up a little bit. Solana is actually up 10%. So you can see Solana making a big move after that outage. Apparently, it doesn't really matter for Solana bulls, which I actually transferred some of my Ethereum into Solana last week. So I'm happy to see this little rally. But as you can see, like there are some other cryptocurrencies up a few percent, but Bitcoin is outpacing the market by about 1% overall. Now, why is this happening? Well, I think this is probably a good reason why. Another net positive day with ETFs buying about 3,150 Bitcoin. You can see this is an estimate here, but it's estimated that Grayscale sold about 2,000 Bitcoin, maybe a little bit under that, 1,800 Bitcoin. And net, we actually added about 3,150 Bitcoin. Now, that was the best day that we had seen in the last 5 trading days. So actually a bit of a reacceleration. Now, why is that happening? Why is there reacceleration? We don't really know, but I have covered in some videos recently. A lot of advisors still aren't pushing Bitcoin ETFs. They just aren't allowed to talk to their clients about it, or it needs to go through some kind of due diligence, and that will take time. So we are expecting people to continue to want to buy Bitcoin after it gets approved by different companies, and then advisors start talking to it to their clients about it. But this so far has been super successful. There's been a net buying of 42,000 Bitcoin, and yes, Grayscale has unloaded a lot, but that's just gone into stronger holders, less greedy holders, people that are, or institutions that are charging 0.25% or 0.2% instead of 1.5% on their AUM. So we're going to continue to see Grayscale continue to sell Bitcoin, and we have heard about some short-term headwinds with Grayscale, possibly some companies that went bankrupt that are going to sell Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So there's going to be FUD in the future, but it's being bought up. Bitcoin's being bought up by strong hands, and this is something that I've said. Like, you don't want to look at the short term and get pushed out of the long-term view. I talked about that in a video recently where I was talking about like buying 0.21 Bitcoin. Arbitrary numbers like that, videos that get you excited and thinking long term about stacking goals are important, because you can get caught up in the day-to-day, some big news, and then you don't buy Bitcoin for a day or a week, especially if you had planned on buying Bitcoin but you put it off. Well, that could cost you thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars down the line if you never actually buy the Bitcoin. So keep a long-term view. That's why I make videos on short-term, but also long-term What do you have to remember with Bitcoin? Speaking about long term, Bitcoin is almost picture perfect with the last two cycles from the low. At this point in the cycle, 2015 to 2018, we were up 170%. In 2018 to 2022, 144%, and 22 to now, 166%. So this is pretty average. Yeah, we've had good returns, but this is what typically happens. If the trend continues, the peak will be in Q4 of 2025. So we still have 18 months, a little bit longer than 18 months, sandwiched between 2,000 and 11,000%. So we can still go up significantly from here. This is not the end by any means. This is the beginning. We could still have a 10x. I also think similarly to COVID, any dip will be short-lived. Bitcoin was under 40K for a few days and resumed its uptrend. And I've said this in a lot of videos too, that there are just a lot of institutions, there are a lot of countries that want Bitcoin allocation. So if we see dips, if we see FUD, if we see selling, they're bound to come in and start buying. They don't really care if Bitcoin's at 45,000 or 43,000 or 40,000. They just want to buy allocation. So if there are a lot of people selling, if there's a lot of Bitcoin going onto the market at cheap prices, they're just going to come in and buy. It doesn't really matter what the price is. When they see an opportunity to buy some without pushing up the price drastically, they're going to come in. So I think this is bound to happen. Now, I said we could see a 10x from here. That's possible. That's what previous cycles have done. I'm not saying that's super likely that we're going to have a $400,000 Bitcoin. I guarantee you I will be taking profits before $400,000 Bitcoin, just because we do typically see big moves up and then we see big moves down. And I want to make sure I have some cash in case we go through another nasty bear market. Plan B says realized prices are all increasing and Bitcoin is above them all, which is bullish. Also, 5-month realized price, currently at 40,000, acts like a floor for the dips in bull markets. You can see this based on the red arrows. So we may never see $40,000 again. Now, what does this mean exactly? Well, realized price is just the price at which Bitcoin has sold divided by the overall Bitcoin. So basically, this is an average of what people pay for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is above the realized price, and the realized price is around 40,000. So typically, like you see here, we can fall down. The Bitcoin price can fall down and it hits this realized price and then it bounces off of it. This is what we see in these big exponential moves up. Now, during the bear market, we fall below it. So keep that in mind. But right now, this could be a nice little floor that we see. 40,000 Bitcoin would be nice if we never saw $40,000 Bitcoin again. So overall, I'm bullish. I've been saying this for a long time. We can always see short-term headwinds. We can always see dips. There's going to be times where I make videos talking about how someone's going to sell. But long-term, I'm almost always bullish. I always like accumulating more Bitcoin, and I haven't been selling any Bitcoin. I haven't been selling any of my long-term hold positions. Now, if something moves up 5x, 10x, I will take profits, even if it's less than that, depending on what the position is. If something seems like it's running too much, I'll sell it. But something like this, like Bitcoin, I am not looking to take profits on. Not yet. I think it's still early. Now, with enough time and with enough price action upwards, I will be taking profits. People will hate me. People will think I'm stupid. New people will be coming into the market and only want to hear about buying Bitcoin. At that point, I'll probably be very honest and say, hey, I'm taking profits, but if you don't have an allocation to Bitcoin, I think it makes sense. I just want to make sure that I keep it as a certain portion of my portfolio. I don't want Bitcoin to be 90% of my net worth, because if that happens, I'll probably go a little bit crazy. I know my own psychology. I'm not going to sit well if I'm not diversified. So let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I think that does give us some indication that maybe we don't see some of the prices that people are calling for. Maybe we never see $30,000 Bitcoin again. And it also shows that we still have a lot of upside from here. Now, I did want to talk about this, a little bit of an altcoin topic. Operation Phoenix, this is one that I've talked about a handful of times recently. They actually did really well. They went from, I think it was right around 100K market cap up to 8 million and then down to, now they're about 4.5 million. They have their Twitter account at 1,000 followers in less than a week. They did like a super stealth launch. Like I was one of the first people following their Twitter page. I know that they're basically like OG SafeMoon people that didn't like what SafeMoon did, like they didn't deliver on promises, so now they're making their own project. And like I said, they've done quite well. They're having a pullback now, but they're actually showing some nice support at a previous resistance. So I'm paying attention to them. Full disclosure, I do hold tokens, and if it moves up, I will take profits. If it moves up a lot, like this thing has done exponentially well. So I'm just playing it like a lot of other cryptocurrencies. If any crypto moves up super significantly, as I said before, if it outpaces itself or outpaces the market significantly, I do take profits. And that's one of the things you can do as an investor. Anyone can do it. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for checking out the links as well underneath the video to my Patreon, to HG Access, also to Margex. I will see you in the next video. And actually, again, be on the lookout for that video on the stock that I'm buying, but I have a fantastic video. Hopefully I can get it up later today. I'm doing an interview with Rob from Digital Asset News. I'm super excited about that. He's someone that I've watched for years, and he's a great guy. The guy that you see on screen is the exact same person that you see in real life. So I'm super excited about that. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next.